managed to resonate. And he won. And he won fair and square. So my message to the left is, if you want to try and beat Donald Trump, then do it democratically and stop trying to delegitimize him. Stop trying to make every tweet, every statement, every comment he says the Armageddon of the world, and just try and apply some rational political common sense to defeating your opponent.
We seek that every night on this show. So I think a lot of Americans look to Europe and the UK and they say, it's changed an awful lot in the past 40 years. I know this as a regular visitor to your country and others. And it hasn't gotten better, and part of the reason it hasn't gotten better is because of the immigration policies in Europe. Those countries are more divided, they're more dangerous, they're less happy, and they're poorer. I know you're against the president's executive orders on immigration, but how do we prevent what's happened in the UK and Sweden and Germany and France from happening here?
Well, let me first of all say that I absolutely agree with Donald Trump that the threat from Islamic terrorism is very real and very dangerous. And he's quite right to cite what has happened in Paris twice, in Nice, in Brussels, as examples of where the massive amount of migration through Europe has created a lot of turmoil, a lot of unease, a lot of insecurity amongst the people, because no one's really quite sure who all these people are, where they're coming from, what their motivation is. So Donald Trump is absolutely right, I believe, to want to protect America as his #1 mission statement right now. And he's absolutely right to say that Islamic State presents a real and very dangerous threat to America. And he's absolutely right, thirdly, to look at what's happened in Europe and say, how do we avoid what has happened there, particularly in, say, Germany, with 1 million people being let into the country and then all hell breaking loose? How do we stop that coming to America? Where I disagree with him is just in the implementation of this ban, where it seemed to me perverse to not include countries like Saudi Arabia and Pakistan and Egypt and others, which foment so much terrorism. Also, I didn't like the idea of people with green cards being detained and threatened with deportation.
Well,
I didn't like the idea,
and they went back on that pretty quick. But so in just one
so there were things that were wrong about it. But this is the key point. I mean, for all those screaming at Donald Trump, I say to them, well, okay, what's your idea? And the main idea from the left appears to be, we've all got to talk more to the community. Well, that's all fine. That's all fine. But while you're talking, ISIS are right now planning attacks on the British mainland, on the American mainland, and they've got to somehow be stopped. So I think Donald Trump is right in his concern, and he's just, I think, probably slightly wrong in the way he's executed this. But let's not all get so pious that we put the attack on Donald Trump and our hatred of him before the real threat, which is people trying to kill and maim and behead us.
That's a bracing reminder. Piers Morgan, thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks.
Pleasure.
Well, the